One thing on this covering is it's not sewn or pulled or this and that. This is always baggy in here, you know, even, I mean, when this was tight, right back in here, it's kind of baggy. It gives and takes. This is one piece that they've stretched on. It's not like it had to be, you know, sewn so it's, you know, tighter here and there. That's why there's nothing on it. And I thought, you know, when a guy goes to put this back on, if you take the rest of it off, I happen to have this, and it was for when I had my airplane. I made the seat in there for it, comfortable. When I got it, there was just an old pad thrown in there, but I made a seat out of this, and then I covered the inside of my doors with this. It was a one-seat aircraft, you know, and I had the doors that would close, and I put the one side had a pocket in for some things that I made out of this. I was thinking, just for the heck of it, that front part, I'm going to stretch this over it and see what it looks like. So I've peeled the covering back. I put the seat on the bike just to see something. This covering is so thick. I mean, man, it's kind of like that thick. Man, that got to be about 4 inches maybe or so. But I'm going to be carving this like this in there. Then I put it on there just to see something. If I took the whole seat cover off, it isn't that much more. It's just staples and that, and I got to take them to tie downs off because they help hold this cover on. But it would be no big problem. And I'm just going to move this up a little bit to kind of lay it in there. And like right there, that color brown, that isn't too bad. I think I figured out what these are. If you're a solo rider, and this is a, you know, they call it a Pan American, Pan European or whatever, but it's made to go state to state to state and really travel. I think you can put these out. Then you can put rope here, here, and here and tie stuff on to the passenger seat. Like, you know, they'll have maybe a sleeping bag, maybe a tent, stuff like that. I think that's what this would be for. Yeah. And if you're not using them, you just fold them out of the way back in here. That would make sense, the way they come out here and they're right here. And you could tie stuff on. I believe that is what this is for. It would make a lot of sense with this type of bike that is made for traveling. That makes sense. Figure that out. Back to the seat. I ended up taking the cover clear off, and what I've done is I started here and put this line, because that's right at the edge of the seat where it breaks. I put one up here, then I put a couple down here, made sure they were all spaced the same, and that's going to be like when I start to carve, I'm going to start carving this edge in, and no further up than that and no further down than that. I'm going to blend that in. Then I do the other side, I have it laid out, then I can take the top off and shave it down to this where I'm going to cut. And what I'm going to use is I have a rasp blade like that. These are all wood rasps. I have this one with the handles, it's curved, and then I have this wood rasp that really has some teeth on this, and on this side it's really teeth. The other ones are just real fine. There's like 4 different kinds on that one. So that's what I'll be using. I'm going to have to take it outside because it is foam. And I'm going to try it out and see if I can get this carved. But it should work. I have both sides carved like this. And both of them come out really flat and nice. So now I put a 1-inch line down from here. And on the other side, now what I'm going to do is start shaving this off the top down to this line and this line. I always put lines on it for reference. That way I know where I'm at. I'm not getting it so crooked. Then I put another line 1 inch down. What I'm going to do is go from this line down and kind of taper it off here. Get rid of this hump right here so my legs will go down better. So that's where I'm at right now. And If you're a viewer, I know a lot of people say, well, you know, they use electric knife. I didn't want electric knife because it might cut it, and I've seen guys do it, but I don't want to get to where I'm cutting it and I cut in too deep. With this rasp, I can take it down gently. It's going to take me a lot longer, but it's going to come out better. I don't want to have to be adding foam to this when I'm done. I want it to be, just take it down easy. Now when I get this top knocked off and them other sides, then I'll put it on a bike, get on it, stand it up and see how I feel. And when I eventually get it done, I'll recover it, put the cover back on, then I'll bend the kickstand. Well, today I worked on it, and what I did was I painted this to match my trim, but I decided to clear coat it to make it shiny like the rest of this up here. So now that that's done, I'm going to wait about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Then I'll clay bar this piece and buff it all out. It'll look like matching the rest of it, but that's good. Now on the seat, I am done carving it out. And as I had showed, I used this rasp mostly, and I have it marked that I use this one that's really a rough grit to do a lot of the flattening in that. And then I wanted to cut some off of here, and cause when I would set on it, I'm kind of tight between here and here. I had taken some off of here. I don't want to take any more off of here. So I took a slice off of the back. And you can see right here's a slice that I took off. And I took it off, and it was bumpy in here, and I just smoothed it up with the rasp and kind of blended the sides in, so now it's ready to recover. And to cut this piece, I seen a guy in India on YouTube that used one of these. So I picked one up at the hardware, and I sliced down in here. I went on the other side and sliced, and then I pulled this back and got the last little bit of it. Then I went up under this way because I didn't want so much of a sharp edge right here, right in here. It's a little bit rounded so that the covering will lay better. But I'm still deciding on whether I want the black original cover or the brown, and I'm thinking about going with the brown. And you see these seats are covered and they're kind of plain across it. I'm thinking about on this back where the passenger would sit, once I get it covered, I think I'm going to put a strap across there like the Suzuki has, and that it kind of breaks it up. So I think I'm going to make that strap and put on if I go with the brown. Even if I went with the black, I have some black stuff back there I could use. But that saw cut this pretty good. I mean, not perfect, but that's when I use the rasp, and I work on this side, I go around the other side and look at it and get down. And if you look at it from the side, you can see I took a lot down. I didn't want to take any more than that. I had another line. I thought maybe I could put a line like right here and cut some more, but I think that's good enough. Because with my tennis shoes on, I got on the bike and I kept feeling this, and the top of my butt is on the back of this step right by the passenger seat. Feels perfect. I'm pushed back a little bit. I shouldn't be up there bumping that fuel cap, that cover for the fuel lid, gas cap cover. I shouldn't be bumping it with my clothes or anything. I'm down in there a little more now. I don't have to go so far forward with the kickstand, but definitely the kickstand has to be heated and bent. So I'm going to get this seat finished, then I'll do the kickstand, because I did my Harley like that. It was like the same thing. You had to lift it there, tilt it a little bit to the right to get the kickstand up. Hated that. Man, I hated that. And you can see this bike isn't leaning over too much, so it's not going to hurt it. But I know the kickstand on a Harley, I had to take it off, heat it, and then, man, I had to pound it to get it bent. This one, it's kind of round. It's not as thick as the Harleys. I believe I can bend it. So to fix my kickstand, my side stand, I need this bent up a little bit, because when I stand the bike straight up, I have to actually lean it to the right to get this kickstand up. So I just wanted to bend it a little bit, and I have this height adjustment for my lathe, and I had it lined up right with the bottom plate here, and that's how much I bent it up. I heated this area, you can see it. This is right below where it goes up and hits the rubber so it doesn't bang. And I marked it, and I heated it right there with a MAP gas, and then I put my foot on the center stand, and I put a pipe wrench, a large pipe wrench, right here, right in there at the bottom, and I pushed down with my foot, pulled up with that, it bent right up. So that should take care of that. I have to wait till it gets cool now, and then I can put it off the center stand and try it. It'll lean the bike a little more too, which I'd like. Then on the seat, as I was talking about the seat, once you shave that down in to make it lower, and I shaved the back and the front to give me a little more room, shaped it, kept getting on it, shaved some more off. I got it down to where it's comfortable, but now the original seat cover won't go on, which I have this tan material I used, and when I put it on, I had a couple pleats. Well, to take care of them pleats, I had glued them, sprayed 3M. You spray it on both parts, like so. I sprayed it in a pleat, let it dry, put it over, taped it, left it overnight. It come right back. You know, it just wouldn't glue this type of material. What I found was hot glue will. You put hot glue in there, it'll glue it. But to make it really held down, I put some straps across made out of the same thing. Now my straps are a piece of wide material, both ends folded over, and then that seam goes down. Stretched it across the seat, went up under, glued it to the bike, and then stapled it. And here's the finished product. As you can see, it's tan now. It matches the bike, but I was going to put a strap across here for looks anyway. Well, I had a couple little wrinkles right in here, so I put a strap. Then to hold this pleat, I put one here and one here, and just wrapped it up around on the one end, glued it, stapled it. Then when I went to the other side, I pulled it tight. So this isn't to hold on to, it's just for looks, but I think it come out pretty good. And I cut this back, this way down, and some of this off. And I can fit a lot better down there when I have my big boots on. I can get both feet down on the balls when the bike's sitting down off the center stand. It's a lot better. So it's late at night. It's, well, 9 o'clock. Thinking about taking a little ride and trying it out, but I can wait till tomorrow or whatever. But that pretty much finishes up the Honda. I said before about it was done. It wasn't, because I'm trying to put that up and get the kickstand. You always got to lean it that little bit extra. I'm on tiptoes, so I got to slide over, get on the other side, and it was just, I don't like that for that kickstand. So I'm going to try that. I think that'll work. I didn't bend it a whole lot. I could always go back and bend it some more, but I think right there will be enough. I just need a little bit. If I can get it up perfectly straight, I'm all right. And the seat made a world of difference by shaving it down, and I could even took more, but I didn't want to take too much. You know, I don't want to get it to where it's going to be hard, but there's a lot of foam under that seat, and it worked good, and it all come out decent. So I think I'm ready to ride. So have a good day.